Roger, Fox 4-6, dispatching artillery.
A failure. That is how most people describe the mission that the Philippine National Police Special Action Force executed in order to capture the terrorists Marwan, Usman, and Baco, who were in Mamasapano, Maguindanao on January 24, 2015, that resulted to the death of 44 SAF commandos. However, according to the PNP, it was a mission accomplished. What really transpired that day? Let's see in this video. Oplan Exodus. The name of the mission that the PNP SAF commandos executed to catch the notorious terrorists Usman, Marwan, and Baco. These three are experts in making bombs. As a matter of fact, Marwan was one of the people responsible for bombing a city in Indonesia in 2002, which resulted to the death of people with different nationalities such as Americans, British, Germans, Swedes, and more. Even before this Oplan Exodus, the PNP had conceived successive missions. Some were executed, but Marwan escaped, and the other missions were aborted. The Special Action Force, or SAF, is the most elite unit of the Philippine National Police that specializes in counterinsurgency operations, counterterrorism in urban and rural areas, hostage rescue, civil disturbance management, search and rescue operations in times of disasters and calamities. With that, on January 24, 2015, at 10 p.m., 392 SAF commandos headed from Cotabato City to Mamasapano, Maguindanao to execute Oplan Exodus under the leadership of SAF Director Hitulio Napeñas. The SAF commandos are divided into different groups: the 84th SAC or Seaborne, 55th SAC, 45th, 43rd, 42nd, and 41st SAC. This is the plan. This is Marwan's hut, the target area. This is the planned route that the commandos needed to follow. The Seaborne was tasked to capture Marwan, so they were first to enter the area. The 55th SAC would follow as the blocking force and main support of the Seaborne. The 45th, 42nd, and 41st SACs were assigned to secure the exit of Seaborne and 55th SAC. The 43rd SAC was assigned to guard both ends of the drop-off point in the highway. When the target is taken, the 84th SAC would link up with the 55th SAC until all commandos get out of the area. However, this plan did not happen. 11 p.m., under the leadership of Police Superintendent Raymond Train, the Seaborne entered the area with the help of a guide. However, because of the difficult terrain and strong stream of the river, the Seaborne was forced to reroute a little bit. This caused them to arrive late at the target area. Because of this, the entry of the rest of the SACs have also been delayed. It was already 4 a.m. when Seaborne reached the target area. Then, 13 of the 41 commandos crossed the river. Little did they know, the area surrounding Marwan's hut was planted with improvised explosive devices or IEDs. 2 commandos were immediately wounded after the first 2 explosions. After a few seconds, a rain of bullets poured from Marwan's hut that stunned the commandos. The commandos returned fire. The gunfight lasted for 15 minutes before Marwan was neutralized. But the problem was that the gunfight alerted the nearby members of MILF, BIFF, and private armed groups. Mamasapano is a known stronghold of these groups. When they confirmed that they got Marwan, Police Senior Inspector Gidna Tabdi cut one of Marwan's fingers and took a picture of him afterwards. Then, they sent a text message to the tactical command post saying, Mike 1, bingo, meaning they already got Marwan. Immediately, the commandos moved out of the hut to link up with 55th SAF. But suddenly, bullets came flying in their direction. Meanwhile, after the 55th SAC crossed the bridge going to their waypoint 12, with more than 1 kilometer of distance from the link-up target area, they heard gunshots, a reason why they were forced to stop and conceal themselves in the cornfield. With the intent to give a safe passage for the seaborne, the 55th SAC tried to go back to the other side of the river. However, someone shouted at them. They immediately went back to the cornfield and did a defensive position. A few minutes later, the number of enemies on the other side of the river increased. A little bit later, at 5:30 a.m., when the sun started to light up the area, the gunfight erupted. However, it wasn't clear who took the shot first. At this moment, both the Seaborne and 55th SAC were engaged in a firefight with the enemies. The 45th and 42nd SACs attempted to move forward to provide help, but even them were shot by the enemies. Meanwhile, at about 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., SAF Director Napeñas told Major General Edmundo Pangilinan, the commanding general of 6th Infantry Division of Cotabato, that they were in Mamasapano and that they needed immediate reinforcement. General Pangilinan then prompted the commander of 601st Brigade, who has the jurisdiction in Mamasapano. At about 7 a.m., the 55th SAC was already asking for reinforcement, but the problem was the 45th and 42nd SACs could not move any further as they were also being shot at. When Seaborne discovered that the 55th SAC was engaged, they immediately moved to give them help. However, it was quite difficult for them to do it as they were also being followed by the enemies. Still, at 7 a.m., AFP and PNP officers met in order to plan the artillery support. However, it was impossible then as they had no details about the exact position of the SAF commandos, especially the 84th SAC, as they were constantly moving. Not only that, there were civilians around the area and they had no forward observers. Forward observers are responsible for directing where the artilleries will be dropped. Because of these problems, it was decided that the mechanized infantry would be sent to provide help. At 7:30 a.m., officers of Coordinating Committee on the Cessation of Hostilities or CCCH, including Brigadier General Carlito Galvez and MILF representatives, met to talk about the execution of ceasefire. In this meeting, they also formed a Joint Ceasefire Crisis Team or JCCT who would talk to the MILF commanders. At 8:30 a.m., the 1st Mechanized Brigade arrived at the area where the 43rd SAC positioned. However, even they were attacked by the enemies from the direction of the MILF Academy. At 10 a.m., the 45th, 41st, and 42nd SACs tried to move forward to the location of 55th SAC, but the enemies were too strong. At 10:30 a.m., the 43rd SAC and 62nd Division Reconnaissance Company linked up with them. However, a little bit later, the 62nd DRC was requested to go back to Tucanmalipao Highway. Meanwhile, at 11 a.m., Police Superintendent Train received a text message saying ceasefire. The firefight stopped. But after an hour, bullets and mortar fire started raining again. Every now and then, Train would ask for reinforcement, but the reinforcement could not penetrate. At noontime, because of the massive enemies towards the position of 55th SAC, Train decided that they changed route and headed east from their current location where there were few enemies. At 1 p.m., the 55th SAC continued to fight for their lives. However, some of the commandos started to fall one by one. It was about 2 p.m. when the 55th SAC was last heard. After that, there was silence. The 55th SAC was never heard of again. At 4 p.m., after the Joint Crisis Team talked to the MLF commanders, most of the MLF members who engaged the 55th SAC retreated. Still, at 4 p.m., the joint group of 45th IB of Army, 45th SAC and 62nd DRC moves forward to the location of 55th SAC, but they were shot at even the ceasefire just started. Another group, including the 61st DRC and a platoon of SAF commandos, went out to reinforce the 84th SAC. At about 5 p.m., the 84th SAC was still engaged by the BIFF. That is why the 6th IB successively fired white phosphorus from 5:48, 6:04 to 6:20 p.m. after they confirmed the exact location of Seaborn. White phosphorus is used to mark a target or to conceal the friendly troops. Because of the white phosphorus, the BIFF retreated. Then finally, at 11:30 p.m., the 61st DRC and SAF commandos found the 84th SAC near the bank of the river. 17 of the commandos were unscathed, 9 died, and 11 were injured. It was 2 p.m. of January 26 that the only survivor from the 55th SAC, Christopher Lalan, was found in the highway riding a bicycle. This incident also caused the death of 1 child and 2 farmers. According to the PNP, even though 44 SAF commandos died in this incident, Oplan exodus was successful as they were able to take down Marwan. According to them, because of Marwan's death, future bombings in different parts of the Philippines were prevented. Eventually, Usman was eliminated through a secret operation, but Baco is still at large. In 2017, the Office of the Ombudsman filed the cases graft and corruption and usurpation of official functions against former President Benigno Aquino III and former PNP Director General Alan Purisima, and bypassing of PNP chain of command against former SAF Commander Hitulio Napeñas. In 2018, Solicitor General Jose Calida encouraged the Supreme Court that the Ombudsman file a case reckless imprudence resulting in multiple homicide against Aquino, Purisima, and Napeñas. But in 2019 and 2020, it was rejected by the Supreme Court. In your own opinion, was the decision of the court justified? Why? What should be done in order to avoid an incident like this in the future? Comment your opinions in the comment section below. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video to your friends. This has been Literacy Corner. See you in the next one.